Welcome to the show, Prime Time with Anis Farooqui, only on TAG TV. My Twitter handle is Anis_Farooqui, email anisfarooqui@gmail.com. Today we are going to do a segment on municipal elections that are just around the corner, and we will be talking about a city which has come up on the map of Greater Toronto area in Ontario. It's called Ajax, and Ajax has very unique population, a unique characteristics, and also that requires a unique leadership also. And we will talk about the leadership, who's going to lead Ajax going forward, as the existing mayor Steve Parrish will be retiring from his current position. We have as our guest candidate for the mayor Ajax, very vibrant, dynamic personality, Shaun Collier. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
Doing great, thank you.
Good, good. You must be very busy.
Extremely busy this last, 6 months. We started back in April, and we've been going non-stop, and yeah, 4 days to go. Yeah.
For my audience, I would like you to tell me a little bit and tell them a little bit about yourself, who you are, who is Shaun?
Yep.
Where do you live? What you got to do with Ajax?
I've lived in Ajax since 1969, so I grew up here.
Okay.
Except for the 5 years I served in the Canadian Armed Forces, I've lived in Ajax my whole life.
Awesome.
After I got out of the military, I came back, I retrained into accounting and opened my own accounting firm, which I operated for 12 years. And that's actually why I first got involved in politics. I didn't like the way things were going financially at the town. We had fairly high debt and we had very low reserves.
Okay.
And now I'm proud to say we have, very low debt and very high reserves. So financially, we're in a very, very good position, and that's why I first got involved in 2003. I served 2 terms as a local councillor, and then in 2010, I ran and beat a 24-year incumbent and moved up to the regional level and deputy mayor, a role that I've held for the last 8 years.
So you have a resume, you have a portfolio.
I do. I have the experience. Which is
quite good and strong.
Yes.
And that when I go for a job, or anybody goes for a job, they say, do you have any experience in that job? So, and that matters, right? So why would people vote you? Do you have experience? Are you experienced? Do you know the issues? Like this is what my question is.
Well, the one thing I've been saying at the debates is the mayor is not an entry-level position, that's for certain.
Okay.
This is the first time in 23 years we're actually going to have a new mayor in Ajax. As you suggested, Steve Parrish is stepping down.
Okay.
We're also going to have a very green council.
Okay.
This not only new mayor, but almost an entirely new council. We have a new CAO at the town of Ajax who just started a few weeks ago. So you need somebody that has the education. I'm an accountant by trade, financial advisor. My degree is chartered director in corporate governance. So I have the education, the experience. I have the 15 years track record, plus owning and operating my own accounting firm for 12 years before that. So I have a very large breadth of experience, and I can hit the ground running, and that's what you need when you are going to have fairly a rookie team going forward, because almost everybody will be new.
Or rookie team, like same thing, right?
Well, very green. I mean, everybody brings their very strong different attributes to the table. But as far as knowing the job of councillor or regional councillor, there is definitely a fairly substantial learning curve. Could be up to a year. And there might only be 2 returning councillors with experience. So you need somebody to
lead the rookies.
Yeah, the mayor's job is leadership, vision, and guidance.
Yeah.
And you need somebody that can steer the ship and keep people on track. And I think the fact that most of these people who are running are supporting me and supporting my vision for the town, things like economic development,
my fear is Shaun, learning on the job, which is like doing experiments with the city, doing experiments with the budget. But you being a senior expert in the council business, you can give them direction. This is what you're trying, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So that means that the team you will be having, you don't know what team probably,
yet.
But the team you'll be having, they might be experienced or not experienced.
Right.
And then since you know all the history and the background of this running the council, this is your next level up.
Exactly right. Yeah, I have moved up the ladder over the last 15 years, and I've got the experience.
Okay.
You'd asked me earlier before we went live that how many people were running. Well, 3 of the people who were running are brand new.
Right.
That just can't happen. I mean, that would be a recipe for disaster. You need somebody that can hit the ground running.
3 of the candidates for the mayor are brand new.
Yes.
So in other words, rookie.
Well, I mean, if you watched any of the debates, you would clearly see what I'm talking about, and the fact that they don't know the issues, they don't know the
But things don't work like that in any company, in any corporate world, or in any country or any city. It doesn't work like that, that for the top job, you vote for inexperienced people.
Exactly right. If you're going to hire the CEO for a company, you're going to hire the person with the best education, with the best experience, that's going to really be able to move the corporation forward.
Right.
And this is the exact same thing. A council, to me, is just like a board of directors for a company.
Right.
And our job is to, you know, make decisions in the best interest, and you need to know that company inside and out. And you need to know all the issues, and being a regional council or mayor position, it's not just town of Ajax issues, it's region of Durham issues. And that's broad. The region of Durham is 50 kilometers,
right,
you know, top to bottom. So it's a very, very large area.
So the challenge for you is not only the new folks, but also running the city. So you have two challenges.
Well, we have excellent staff. And quite honestly, staff are the ones that are on the ground day to day doing the job. The councillors and regional councillors are the ones that have the most interaction with the residents, depending on the area where they live. And then the mayor is the one that sort of in the background. Mine is more the 30,000-foot view, I would say, not down in the weeds. It's staff who are the ones who are delegated to take on the day-to-day operations of the town. We make the decisions on that.
So every leader has a vision. What's your vision?
Well, first and foremost is economic development. I think one of the things, I'll start with first some of the things we've done well. Ajax is as I started to say when I first got involved, we're in a very, very good position financially. Strong reserves, very low debt. Very, very good financial. Environmentally, we're leaders environmentally. We have our 7 kilometers of uninterrupted waterfront that we've assembled, all in public ownership. We have 116 kilometers of paved trails. We have our fleet of hybrid vehicles. We have our LEED certified buildings. We have a tree canopy that's second to none. So we are leaders in those areas. So we've done those very well. Some areas that I see challenges and improvement are things like economic development. The simple fact that we've got 70% of our population that have to travel into the city every day to work. Meanwhile, we've got over 425 acres of prime serviced employment land sitting in Ajax vacant. We need to work with businesses, work with investors to get investment into those lands, create jobs, first and foremost. By doing that, all of a sudden you've got, instead of having everybody have to travel into the city, more people can live and work in Ajax. That will pay development charges, but that will also pay commercial taxes. And commercial taxes is the only way that we're ever going to be able to address the constantly increasing residential tax base. So that's first and foremost, economic development, because that is sort of a domino effect for so many other things. We do have some increase in crime. Durham region crime is up 7.4% this year, and Ajax is, we're the 44th largest municipality in Canada. So, but we're the only municipality in those 44 that does not have a police station. I think that's an essential piece of infrastructure. We as Ajax residents are paying $36 million a year for policing, and we're not getting all that benefit. We're subsidizing other municipalities. I feel we need that central hub. I think that presence will do a lot to slow people down and address some of the poor driving conditions we have, but also help displace some of the criminal elements that are sneaking into town. I also feel we need more officers. And I'm chair of finance as well at the region. I oversee a $1.4 billion budget, so I know where the money is and how that works. And by reallocating money that we already have in the budget, we're able to not only build this police station in Ajax that we badly need, but also free up $90 million that we can use some of that now to hire more officers. So my policy is not just how to get us there, but to do it without increasing taxes. Let's find efficiencies. Let's find some other ways of doing things. And the third piece, the most important piece, is the redevelopment of our downtown core. We have seniors wanting to downsize. We lack apartments. We lack condos. We lack office space. We lack a lot of things like some of the nightlifes, like the bars and cafes and clubs and things, which will come with redevelopment of the downtown. Things like mixed-use development, which is main floor retail, second, third floor office, and then residential above. That's optimum use of space in the downtown. We have some very serious sewer capacity issues to address before we do that, and that's why we need a partner at the region of Durham, a regional chair that's going to work with us on that, and I have a plan for that. But with that redevelopment, that will solve the housing issues that we have with some. Also youth. A lot of youth can't afford to buy the houses we have. More apartments, more condos, keep those people here in Ajax, get that office space we need, create that pedestrian-friendly, livable, walkable downtown core.
You have a very diverse community in Ajax, the most diverse community in Ajax. You have a Muslim pockets, Hindus, and all kind of mix. You have 4 mosques. In a small Ajax, 4 mosques. There's lots of parking issues. How you want to handle that parking issues and the parking tickets?
Well, let me just start off just on our multicultural, our diversity, and I'm very proud of that. I've lived in Ajax in '69. As I said, I've seen a lot of change. I remember when we were a population of 12,000. Now we're almost 125,000. And as we've grown, especially the area that I represent, which is North Ajax, I'm the minority. I make up about 32% in North Ajax. Okay. So one thing I'm very proud of is over the last 15 years, I've spent that time working with all the different cultures that I represent and going to all their events and learning their cultures and learning their traditions, and I love the food. Right. And, and by doing that, I've kind of become accepted into these communities. So even though I'm not, physically one of them, I've become accepted as someone that they know they can turn to and talk to. So I'm very proud of that. And one big part of my campaign is to make sure that we develop our multiculturalism, our diversity. When I go to some of these events, and I'll get to the parking in a second, but if I go to a Muslim event, for instance, I'm probably the only non-Muslim there. Right? If I go to a Hindu event, if I go to a Tamil event, if I go to all these different things, let's find some ways to get all these different cultures to interact together. Yeah. Right? That's to me what inclusivity is. And that's
we are living in a separate our own pockets.
Right.
We are not mixing and mingling together.
Right. So let's find a way to get true inclusivity. Okay. And I don't know what that is. I'm planning on starting up a number of signature events with the town sponsored and partnered events with the groups. Maybe things like an international festival. Maybe something like, we used to have the Tastes of Ajax, which had a lot of the restaurants that come out, and that gets the people out from those different sectors. We have, you have the Taste of Danforth, which is in the Greek town. And it's not only Greek people that go there, it's everybody that goes there.
Or concerts or musical programs, stuff like that.
Yeah, so things like that to really develop our inclusivity. To the parking, you're talking about the, one of the main ones is, the biggest one is probably down on Harwood. And I know especially on Fridays, there's a lot of traffic. They have two prayers in the afternoon, and I've attended those many times, I've spoken at them many times, and it is a chore to get in and out. So we need to have, and I don't know what the solution is, but we need to work out a way, either maybe a right turn lane in to get the traffic off. I've seen off-duty police there before. Maybe we need to work at a busing system where we can have parking in another area and have the people bus there and back. I don't know what the solution is, but I'm certainly willing to work with the Muslim community on that and find a solution on how we can address this.
But there is a problem. Solution will come after, but the problem is issuing tickets and not understanding that, this is an event, and like in Mississauga, there has been exceptions on Eid and other festivals where they understand this is a major event and we need to be,
I absolutely agree. Okay. And I'll give you an example. About 3 weeks ago, I attended the Ganesh immersion ceremony down at the waterfront. And the Hindu community had gone through all the proper channels. They got a permit. They got the town provided the tents and did all the setup for them. They did everything right. But where that event is held down at Paradise Beach, there's some construction going on, so there wasn't parking. And some of the people parked in areas where it was no parking. And a lot of them were issued tickets. I did not agree with that. I did reach out to the town, and we were not able to get those looked at. It was a no parking, and they stuck to it. But I absolutely agree that we should have some, especially when somebody books a permits his site, that we should have the proper parking. And that's something I want to address, whether it's just special events, but also the on-street parking that we have throughout the town of Ajax. We don't allow on-street parking after 3 hours. But then again, we won't allow people to widen their driveways or things like that. We have to address the fact that people no longer have just 2 cars now. We have people kids are no longer leaving home at 19, they're leaving home at 27. We have no longer all single family, we have multifamily homes. We have people renting their basements. We need to be able to modify this bylaw to allow for that. If you don't want people parking on the road, you have to allow a little bit of leeway as far as creating extra parking on the property. So a number of things. An on-street permitting system, parking permitting system perhaps, looking at different ways on the bylaw to allow extra parking off the street on private property, and also looking at some special event functions where if there is a special event, especially a permitted one, that some exceptions are made to account for parking. It is only for an hour or two, and it is only once or twice a year.
I think it's about educating community leaders also to, getting involved with the council, follow the rules, get the proper permits done, and then go from there. If I have to ask you one question on behalf of the audience, why would we vote you and I need your final comments talking to the community.
Okay. Well, I think, you know, I'll go back on my proven track record and what I said about the mayor's job is not an entry-level position. I've got the education, I've got the experience, and I've got the proven track record. And one thing I spoke of when I was actually at the Moss last Friday was I'm not one of these politicians that only shows up every 4 years and asks for your vote. You see me in the community all the time.
Right.
They know me, and they know that you know you can turn to me, and I am available and I am accessible. I've always held quarterly public open houses. And that's an opportunity for residents to come out because I believe communication is so important. In 15 years, I've only ever given out my personal cell phone number. So people call me directly. I believe communication is very, very important, and I will continue as your mayor with open communication. So if anybody has any issues, has any comments, wants to sit down with me, open door policy. And I will continue to hold these public events to keep myself available to those that I represent if they give me the honor of being their next mayor. So. Again, not an entry-level position. I'm willing. I can take over, hit the ground running. But the main thing is my policies and everything that I brought forward. And if you go to my website at votecollier.com and read the policies, things like on economic development, on creating a college university campus technology hub, on a costed plan for a police station, my Greenbelt environmental initiatives, responsible taxation and spending and finding other sources of income. All these things together show that I don't just talk about the issues, but I bring solutions to the table. And my solutions are costed and they're achievable. These are not campaign promises. These are achievable things that we're going to get done in this term of council. And I put my money where my mouth is, and I'm very well known for not just talking, but getting it done. So I'll leave it at that.
Very good. The key word is experience, and that is what you have to keep in mind. And we always complain about our politicians, but I have a complaint about our public. That at the day of elections, we don't go out, we don't vote, we don't do our civic responsibility, and we sit home and relax. I would suggest this time for Ajax people, go out, vote for your choice, and then you will see the result, and then we will not be complaining. Thank you so much, Shaun.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And we'll take a break, and after the break, we'll do another segment. Stay tuned.